Dude, this is like second time I'm actually trolling again. This is gonna be a tradition. All right, starting over again. Man, it sucks. All right, so thank you so much to everybody who's coming to the stream. Looks like it's Bex and maybe somebody else. You here? Okay, yeah. It's just Bex and somebody else. Uh, yeah. So thank you so much for coming to the stream. Just as a reminder, make sure to follow us on Twitch because once we hit our 50 followers, we are going to be giving away the OG hoodie, which is exclusive. Nobody can buy it. Oh, it looks like Rafos is here. Thank you for following Rafos. Nobody can buy the OG hoodie, and it's worth about $30. So make sure you definitely follow us so that once we hit our 50 followers, you can get entered into that giveaway. And what's up, Rafos? Or I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But second thing is that if you haven't followed us already on Instagram, make sure to follow us, MHS Project Illuminate. If you follow us, then you would have noticed that we have a blanket social with Amnesty, VSA, Red Cross, Wave, Fly, Chess Club, and Girls League. So that's actually really huge. We're going to be making blankets in the cafeteria from 2 to 4:30 p.m. next Thursday. We're going to be donating those blankets to a homeless shelter. Huge opportunity to meet new people and like in community service and stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out and make sure you guys come. If you guys want to sign up, this is the link. What's it called? Like it called. That's the link to sign up. Make sure you guys do that. And yeah, today we're going to be doing our interview with Matthew Nguyen, which is I would introduce him, but he's about to come on call anyway, so let's let him introduce himself. Let's see. Yes, badminton player, but let's let him introduce. Hello? Matthew, I can't hear you if you're talking.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes, sir. All right, let's just fix this up so stream can see everything. All right, let's get camera on for myself. All right, so yeah, this is Matthew Nguyen for anybody who has not met him before. Matthew, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Matthew Nguyen. I'm a senior this year. I'm president of ESA, Amnesty, and I'm ranked 2 of the class of 22.
Yeah, rank 2, that's pretty good. Yeah, so anything else you want to
That's
share,
pretty
or
good.
you just want to hop in?
Nah, very good.
All right. Just by the way, guys, if you guys ever have any questions throughout the entire interview, just ask. We if we're in the middle of something, we'll just continue going on and we'll just fit in your question whenever we can. And if not, we're gonna have a Q&A session at the very end. So yeah. So first question, I think everybody wants to know this. Where are you applying to? Where are you headed?
Okay, so I applied to 4 UC schools. It's UCI, UCLA, UC San Diego, and UC Berkeley. I'm not applying to any Cal State because honestly, it's just like personal matter. Just don't want to go Cal State, and then going to Harvard,
Oh shoot.
Vanderbilt, and Stanford.
Okay, Stanford and
Those are my
Vandy.
3 private schools. Yep.
All right. So what's your dream school? Which one's the ideal one? That's close to home.
Honestly, I'm fine with any of them. So, okay, so my safety schools are like UCI and UCSD,
For sure.
and then honestly, my target school is also UCSD, and then
What?
anything else
All right.
beyond that is extra.
All
Yeah.
right, but like let's say you got accepted into all of them. Which one would you choose?
I think it really depends on like financial aid. But okay, if I make it to Harvard, there's no way I pass up on that, but I doubt. So,
All right. Dang. So how did you come to choose those colleges? How did you? Because those are some pretty big colleges.
um, yeah, so I think like it depends like on who you are. Like I know I'm capable of like a lot, so I chose to apply to like the top 4 UCs, and then for fun, I chose the two, two hardest private schools to get into, and that's pretty much it. And they're all good for your comp sci, so it doesn't really matter
Wait, say that again.
regarding like yeah. So I'm gonna do my major is like computer science, so it doesn't really matter because as long as like you get good internships and like do good in classes, you can just get a job with the bachelor's.
Have you already gone into computer science, or what do you already have in that field?
Computer science. Okay, so I took computer science A. Okay, a lot of people know Bogart did it last year, but then he didn't do it this year because he retired, and no other teacher wants to replace him. So that's pretty much it. And then I'm doing comp sci principles this year, and honestly, yeah, it's pretty sad. And then the concept is just really fun. Like computer science is pretty much like puzzle solving, so it's not really like generic math where you just like solve algorithms all day, but it's like yeah, you basically solve problems through like coding and stuff like that. Yeah,
Have you done anything outside of school?
outside of school. So outside of school, okay, I plan to like after apps. Okay, I'm not gonna put this on my apps, but it's like for me, I'm gonna try to make like a video game. It's pretty hard, but I'm gonna try like learn a new language, and also we're doing a competition.
Yeah.
Microsoft
Oh man,
Imagine.
pumping these nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you looking to go into video game design, or like, are you?
No, I think something like okay, so people don't know about computer science, it's like multiple levels. Like you can do like website designing, which is like front end, and there's also like back end, which is like systems and stuff like that. And then video games is also a separate industry, but I don't think I'm like I like playing video games, but making them is just I'm pretty sure it's much harder than playing them.
Yeah. So do you have an idea of what
I
field you want
play.
to go into yet?
Mm, like right now, I'm still deciding. It's either data science or like back end.
Back in like web or back in like HTML?
Uh, just like in general, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So was there a reason why you like? Did you look for tech schools when you chose your universities, since like, you're considering comp sci, or was it more just like these are the
Okay,
best schools?
yeah. All right, so regarding computer science, like the top scores are gonna be like MIT, UC Berkeley, Stanford, and like Carnegie Mellon. Some of you guys
Ooh.
might not know, but that's like one of the best computer science schools. And then honestly, I really wanted to stay in California, so I applied to most of the UCs, like the top UCs. And then as long as I do good in them, I think I'll have a good shot in the tech industry.
Do you plan to go
That's my
do any
plan.
education after bachelor's or not?
I doubt unless I really love like theoretical. Like I'd rather like go into internships and like find out like what I'm supposed to learn and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully only bachelor's.
Do you have a dream like company you want to work at, like Fang or
Dream
like?
company. Okay, yeah. So Thing is like the top four tech company, which is like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google, I think.
Yeah, and there's also Amazon,
Yeah,
so
so
double A.
yeah. So those are the like top tech companies, and it'd be nice to work there, but as long as I'm like getting paid good,
All
that's all that matters.
right, fair enough, fair enough. All right, so you said you applied to UC. So, can you just walk us through that process about like how you applied?
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna start with financial aid first because not all of us are rich. So then, as
Okay.
long as your family is making like honestly, if you make like 200K plus, like your family income, you can probably still apply for financial aid. But financial aid, I think, is very important for people to know that it starts October 1st because apparently if you sign up earlier, the more money you get because I don't know, like because they have like a set amount and then usually it's like first come first serve basically. So make sure to sign up for FAFSA, which is like the government website for financial aid, October 1st. And basically you have like you're gonna put in your social security number and like your personal info and then like your taxes and then like RS forms. So yeah. And then UCs because financial aid is separate from like applications because financial aid okay it's pretty complicated but first you have to put the colleges you want to apply to onto FAFSA because even though you don't apply to it they're going to send your info to the schools and then you hear back from them after you get your results so it's kind of weird and then yeah so you see application It's pretty generic, I think. Like compared to common apps, you have your coursework, your GPA, your test scores, your extracurriculars, and then you have to choose four personal insights, which is like essays, sort of. And then they're pretty much the same every year, so you can probably look up, and then it'll be there.
Yeah. So since you applied to UCs, which of the four insight questions did you decide to answer? You don't have to go over all of them, just any of them that stood out or your answer
Oh,
stood out.
okay, yeah. Well, it really depends on like person to person because you really want to write the like an essay that best fits you because I have like a lot of leadership positions and like a lot of interest into like math and computer science. I chose like the leadership one and then how you further explore the like subject, I think. So it's basically just choose. It doesn't really matter. Just choose the one that best like creates your story and like shows all your positive traits. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets to a really good point because like when I'm thinking about my college apps, I don't really know how to turn it into a story. I just feel like I have like this like my stuff, but I don't know how to like craft it into like a narrative. How did you do that for yourself?
Yeah. So what do you think? Okay, because you're in junior year right now. What do you think your story is?
That's a th- it's kind of the thing I don't really know. It's kind of like I'm just kind of everywhere.
You see, so basically, a story isn't really like it's not really creative. It's sort of like creative writing, but it's creative writing in a way that you portray like your best traits. Like if it's leadership, then you want to form like this whole idea behind your essays about like, oh yeah, I was like president or secretary of this, and then you basically show what you did because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go into much details about what I wrote, but like since I was like president of VSA and like Amnesty, so I basically formed this idea of being a leader in the Viet community and also like human rights, and which pretty much forms like a story about how like I'm a good person.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like an example.
Oh yeah. So that's more like UCs. How does that sort of transfer into common apps in general, just for like other colleges? What's the differences? Where
Oh yeah, okay, so the difference between common apps and UC is that okay, common apps is mostly private schools. So like the schools I was applying like Vandy, Stanford, and Harvard, they'd have like you'd have like common apps. Like it's like the same thing as UC, but then the personal insight questions are much different and it's more creative writing than actual because UC is pretty much the same every year, so it's not really creative. It just they just want to like know who you are. But then like private schools, like on the common apps, they ask like really weird questions like if you were to introduce yourself to a roommate, like what would you say? And like this funny questions like that. It basically wants to ask about your character and build on who you are, like with the personal insights.
Yeah, so how did you personally change your sort of responses? Like, because I know they're different questions, but how did you adjust how did you adjust your story from, let's say, like from Harvard to UCSD, since those are so disparate?
Okay. Yeah, well, pretty much the questions still touch on the idea of like who you are. So basically kept my story about, being this really good person, except you form it around the different like funny questions they make. And also you shouldn't if the question is like really like it's like really obvious that they're not trying to like I know some questions are like, "Oh, what's your favorite toppings?" or whatever. Like for those, you don't really have to build a story, but like
All right.
you just need to just be creative with those and for the personal insights, I wouldn't change much from like the UCs, especially like you take so much time writing these. You really just want to build on like your character. Like you want to have a persona that you want to define like throughout these college apps and just apply to each of them.
Yeah, so you said be creative about like the what are your favorite toppings one? What does that mean? Can you like elaborate on that?
I think okay, it's like what's your favorite topping? Okay. A generic answer would be like, oh, pepperoni pizza. And then like me personally, since I'm not like the person behind it, I don't really know what that means. But if I say like, "Oh, I like pepperoni pizza," it kind of portrays you as like a boring person. But like if you say, "Oh, I like pineapple," which is super controversial, I think it shows like you're a very daring person, and it basically shows like your other character traits that you have besides like all these leadership positions or how smart you are, and yeah,
Hmm. All right, pineapple game. Let's go. Um.
pineapple gang is the best.
Yeah. Okay. This is probably off topic, but like, can you eat pizza without the pineapple?
What?
No, because like I like
Wait.
so like for me, I eat the pineapple because like it feels dry, kind of dry without it. It feels kind of like not generic, but
Oh,
I can eat it without the pizza, but without the pineapple. But like I feel like the pineapple gives it like some sort of like it gives it like a twist, and like I need like the
yeah,
moisture too.
well, I love pineapple, so I always eat it because it's like it's a good combination, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, you've eaten cheese pizza before, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, was it bad?
No, but I would say it
Exactly.
could be
Like it's
improved
just
upon.
pizza. That's true, but hey, pizza, pizza.
What? All right, let's get back on topic. Sorry. So, hold up. Let me think about this. Did you? So I know you have your positions, right? You have like your VSA, you have your amnesty. Did you emphasize anything in your like free time, like if you had any, like if you had like anything outside of, let's say, president of clubs or like badminton? Did you emphasize badminton in yours at all?
Um, not really, no.
Yeah. So like, did you have anything like outside of? Okay, now calm down. Did you have anything outside of let's say those two clubs and academics?
Um, I think okay, for the UC personal questions, it mostly like applies to your academic and leadership because it asks you like what challenges you overcame and then you basically apply those. And regarding hobbies, it really depends what you do. Like I did not play the piano for what 20 years, so I didn't really have anything to write. Like I'm just a kid. I play video games. I watch anime. So I don't think I can really put that. But as long as you have like other stuff that can counterbalance and like show college that well I put all this effort and then they won't really question your free time like that.
Hmm. All right. Did any of the like I know like I'm not sure about the practices of like private schools. Like I honestly don't know much. But like, was there any like point where like you might have had an interview or something like something outside of just submitting an essay or app?
Okay, so for private schools, it is mandatory. Like most private schools, like the Ivy Leagues and like the like Stanford and MIT, you have to get a letter of rec. One from an English, like a humanities teacher, and one from a STEM teacher. You also need a counselor one. For interviews, I heard that is completely optional. Like maybe if you want to request it, they will like add it up, like on top of it, but it won't really give you like a boost or anything. It's just if you want to learn more about the school, and also, uh, the people who interview you, they don't really know who you are, so it's basically just like a one-on-one. And it's like they like your personality, they're just gonna tell that to the college, and then they will add it to your college application. But it's not really mandatory.
Let's see. I think that about wraps it up for college section. Do you have anything else you like thought about share like you think you should share like people should know?
Yeah, so like you shouldn't be afraid to apply to like Cal State or a community college because I know a lot of like really smart people who like don't have enough money or like it depends what program they want to go into. Like if you want to do nursing, I know Cal State Long Beach has like one of the best programs for that because like you know like accounting, like Cal State Fullerton is pretty good at that. So it really depends. Yeah,
Yeah.
it basically depends on what you want to major, and then well, community college is also a good choice because you save money, and there's also the tag program, which basically guarantees like a spot in the UCs except for like the top two or three.
Yeah.
And while like you can basically get into UCI while also saving money, which is super good. And if you didn't make any UCs like your out of senior year, then I recommend going to like community college, or if you don't want to go into like a real like beyond that, you can just go to Cal State, which is still good.
Oh yeah, so we got a question in the chat. All right, so if we have a low GPA or test like
Mhm.
SAT, ACT score, right? So standardized testing score, but you have taken like you've got like decent grades in like STEM courses and you want to major in STEM, is it possible to get into like a solid college?
Um, okay, regarding ACT and SAT, since most like UCs the test blind, I think until 23, they're
23.
test blind, so you don't really have to submit it. It's just like to see where you can place, and it's pretty. You really don't have to do it. So if you get a bad score in those, just don't submit it. Regarding GPA, okay, if you want to major in STEM, then you should probably get like good like STEM scores. But like if you get like a B in English or history, it's okay. And honestly, like a B or C in STEM is not like a deal breaker or anything, but you should probably show your interest through like your extracurriculars to show that like your passion for it. And yeah, so you don't really have to get like 100% in these classes, and it's pretty much how you want to show your passion for the subject.
Yeah, so I didn't like. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so like, 'cause I'm obviously not the senior here. So what I think is that like, obviously you want to try your best, but for STEM, it's really important that like I feel like grades are just sort of like the first step because usually you have grades and then just getting a good grade in like AP Chem that tends to be not enough. You have to sort of demonstrate interest like outside of the classroom.
Yeah.
So like let's say like if you're really interested in doing like biochem or something, right? Then you could like actually no biochem is usually for let's say you want to be like a chemical engineer, right? So you want to be really good at chemistry. So like in addition to say hopefully you get a 5 on AP Chem and you get an A, you also do like let's say right now we have like the OC Science and Engineering Fair, so that would be like just sort of like the next step, and like you just want to be taking steps outside of the classroom to show that you're not just taking the class, you're sort of demonstrating interest outside of. I'm repeating myself here, but like you're sort of just you're not just in the classroom. Yeah, does that do you think that makes sense, or what do you think?
Yeah, so basically, if you want to like show like your dedication to the subject and just do stuff beyond classes. Yeah, I agree.
Mhm. Okay, so Nelson asks, would do colleges care about like visual performing arts, like art theory, music theory, and orchestra? Like,
Okay, Nelson, what are you trying to major in?
yeah, that's that's a good point.
Yeah,
Let's say, hmm, yeah, let's wait for his answer for that because that's pretty important.
because I know. Okay, art history.
Wait, you want to major in art history, or are you trying to correct your? Okay, yeah, so he's basically STEM.
Okay, so if you STEM, um, for visual performing arts, like, okay, since those are mostly classes besides orchestra, um, okay, classes doesn't really matter, like, because okay, orchestra, it shows like your commitment to like string and instruments. But if you've been like playing the violin for like 5 years and then you want to write a personal insight about that, then you can talk about how you took like a class to further better your understanding of music and how your love for instruments has gone to the point where you've done like a lot of orchestra work. Then that's great. But if you're just taking a class like for fun, it doesn't really matter unless it's like an honors class, then you can just get a GPA boost. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, like practically speaking, I think that like the only reason why it's on the like requirements or like the minimum in the first place is just so that they know that you're like a sort of well-rounded student, like you sort of cover all the base points, and like I think in the long like unless it's like you are creating a persona around it, then I don't think it's really like you sort of just go in for the grade and go out, and hopefully you learn something along the way. If not, that's like surprised. Like I'm not surprised. Like so, yeah. Does that help you, Nelson? Yes. Back next coding foundation. I'm not sure if positions will be open next year, but coding foundation itself is an organization. So yeah, it's an organization. So you should just follow them on Instagram. Is just coding foundation underscore, no spaces. So yeah, that about wraps up the college section. If nobody else has any questions. So yeah, moving on to high school. All right, start with anything come out to you when I say like high school? Anything you like comes to mind when I say high school in terms of
Okay, I just want to note that okay, your GPA doesn't really reflect like your intelligence. Like, well, I'm ranked two, but there's so many smarter people than me. I think I was just smart in choosing my classes and like what route I took. So yeah, intelligence does not equal ranking or GPA at all.
yeah, and also so you said I was smart in choosing my classes. How do you do that, or what do you mean by that?
Okay, so to get a high GPA, you have to take like the most weighted classes. Well, a lot of people won't be able to start this because, well, they're already into their sophomore or junior year, or maybe even freshman year. But like I took Spanish in middle school, and then I also took um I
Geometry.
think geometry in geometry in middle school. So I was able to like get ahead of the curve, and then so I was able to take AP Spanish in junior year, and I was able to take Calc BC in junior year, which basically boosted my GPA that year compared to everyone else because they're taking um like normal Spanish, like Spanish 3, and trig or Precalc. So basically, doing steps earlier on will better boost your GPA. And then also like starting, I know freshman year this year they get to do AP Human. That's good. But then sophomore years, I took three AP classes, which was pretty much like the max. I know a lot of people only took two, which was like AP Chem and
World.
yeah, AP World History. But then if you like took a zero or something, you can get an extra GPA boost through like AP Psych or AP Psychology or like AP Environmental Science, which are like really easy. Even yeah, and then basically like me getting ahead and like doing all of these classes, and afterwards I took like every AP classes. So I think that's how I was smart at choosing my classes. So yeah.
Yeah, so kind of touching up on college back again. How important do you think rank is for college apps and also just in general?
I think rank, okay, because like for UCs, I know rank do not matter at all, but I do believe like the correlation because if you have a high ranking, that means you have a high GPA. And I do know they compare you with like other people from your school. So the fact that you have a high ranking means you're doing really good. It doesn't necessarily mean like you're like valedictorian, then you're automatically accepted into UC Berkeley. No, but it gives you a really good chance at these schools. Just the fact that um, high GPA means you took like the hardest class like Marina, and then it also means that you took all of these classes at the same time. It shows like your capabilities. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Bex has a question. So were the AP exams hard for you? And if you prepared for them at all, how long before did you start preparing for your AP exams? Especially last year where you had more.
Oh, um, okay, I think it's really important. Okay, I didn't do this, but I think you should definitely stay you should definitely stay on top of your class because Um, reviewing at the end of the school year really depends on how well you did in the school, like in the class, like the whole year. So if you had a really good understanding, like the whole year, you don't really have to prepare like far in advance for the AP test. But if you have no clue what you're doing, then you should probably seek help and then study earlier.
Chica.
But if the subject is really hard for you, I'd suggest like getting a review book, and then as you're learning this stuff, you should also look in the AP like review book so you understand all the concepts that College Board will be asking you.
Yeah, so like theoretically, right, that's like the best thing to do, right? You just study every night. But like how do you practically do it so that you're not like just burnt out and you have to like grind just to stay on top of things?
Why?
I mean, like, hey,
Well,
like you
personally,
say that you're gonna, but I am not going to. Oh my god, I don't understand this topic. Let me go through my AP review book and write down notes and
okay,
like I'm not gonna do
yeah.
that, right? So how do
Okay,
you make it like
that's
practical?
Okay, that's if you really want to get like a 5 and you're like dying for a perfect score. Okay, for practicality, well, the past years it's been like really interesting because we only had like online AP tests.
Hmm.
So okay, our sophomore year, which is your freshman year, we only had like that one FRQ, which is like really stupid and honestly, like that was dumb. So I'm pretty sure you couldn't study for that. Okay, last year, it was like online at the same time. Um, in practicality, usually the teacher will prepare you, like because like they'll take like a month ahead of the AP test, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then every day you'll work on like FRQs, MCQs, which are the different parts of the AP test. And I would, okay, if you're striving for a 4 or a 5, maybe 3, if you're like really scared that you're not gonna pass it, I would definitely get a review book, like especially the memorization heavy ones like AP Psych. You should, because in the AP test, the review book, it'll give you like all the definitions and examples. So all you have to do is like read and like memorize that, which is much simpler than going through all your class notes. But I think it really depends on what class you're talking about.
Yeah, so you see like review books. Do you have any recommendations, like in terms of maybe general brands, but also like for individual classes?
Yeah, so I have a stack of AP books over there, and I think it's not from like one company. Like I think I searched up like, oh, what's the best review book for the subject, and then I bought like the top one. So I see couple Barron's, couple Cliffs Notes for AP Bio and AP Lang. I see some Princeton ones, so pretty much just like the main companies. So yeah. I don't think it really matters what book you choose as long as you put the effort in.
Mm, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, do you have like any book that was the most useful for you, or like did any of them stand out at all?
Ooh, okay. AP Calc stood out in the worst way possible. Those questions I did not understand a single thing. Okay, if you want to, okay, if you're taking AP Calc AB or BC, I will strongly recommend steering away from Barons because they are much harder than the actual test, I think. But like, yeah, so what I said was for AP Psych, like I had this like really good review book. I literally carried it to class and studied before the test, and it's pretty good.
You
So
want to
yeah.
give us you want to give us the name, the brand name of the book?
I think 5 steps to an A.
Five Steps to a Five.
Yeah, 5 steps to a 5. Yeah, for AP Psych. That's a
Okay, yeah,
really
yeah.
good book.
Good. Yeah, I'll do that. Uh, all right. We got some interesting questions. First one: do you think College Board is actually a nonprofit organization? Do you really believe it?
If you ask anyone with a brain,
Wait, do
no,
they
it's
say they're
not.
nonprofit?
It's not. Yeah, they do.
Really?
They're not. They're not. They're
They're
not
not. Okay, yeah. And
nonprofit.
then another good question: what is your best AP score?
Uh, uh, I don't really study from an AP test, which is my like. Okay, that's like my worst aspect regarding like my application, which is my test scores. So my best AP score is probably like a 4, but I got like multiple 4s, so I think it's okay.
Do you regret that? Like not putting in enough effort on those exams?
Well, it depends because I really do not care as long as I get the credit and as long as I have fun throughout the year, I'm fine with whatever I get. Because it's honestly, the more effort you put in, you'll see like the result back. So yeah.
Do you feel like that will hurt your app? Obviously, it's going to make a difference in your application, but do you think it's like an important difference in your application?
Um, I think it depends, like, okay, if your base, like, if your whole thing is based on like being smart and like being super good in academics, then I think it will affect a little bit. But if you're like, because like the UC application is holistic, which means that it takes in your extracurriculars, like your rigor and like stuff besides your academics. I think as long as you have things to counterbalance that you're just not this book nerd, the bookworm, I think it should be okay, and I don't really regret anything. So
Yeah, that brings up a really good point. Like whether you sort of brand yourself, your persona as like being
yeah,
intellectual, or if it's more of being like a human being. So yeah, I think that's really important because
yeah,
right now I'm sort of
yeah.
like leaning too
So
far onto the intellectual side.
yeah, so you're super intellectual. Like you have like you join all these like academic organizations and like competitions. I'd say that yeah, something like you'd really want like good scores on your AP test to show like you're like really good.
All right, yeah. So there's a couple of questions. I'm gonna answer some of them. So like one of them is that how much self study does AP chemistry take? And I think this goes back to what you said about how much effort you put in throughout the year. So last year I was in AP World and I was in AP Chem, right? AP World. So I don't blame Florida because it was pandemic and all, but like basically I got nothing from the class. So what ended up happening was I had to self study the entire course by myself. And I spent 2 months straight of like 2 hours a day. I read the whole textbook twice, and I did I did like nine self like DBQs on my own, and I studied really hard. Right, I got a five, and then AP Chem. Right, Murphy's a good teacher. When Murphy is there the whole year, you're basically set. So when it came to the AP exam, I just took two practice exams, which honestly they didn't help. I wouldn't say they affected my score at all. Like I got like the equivalent of a five on both exams, like just practice exams, and I got a five on chem,
Yeah,
and that was with minimal studying,
that's pretty
right?
good.
So it's like Nelson's question was, how much self study does AP chemistry take? And I don't know how it is this year, obviously, because last year I was on online, but I'm assuming that if I can online learn like not have to study for the actual exam, I put in the effort during the class, but it's online class. Like there's no way that she can sort of like get the same amount across as in person. So I think that okay, personally also I feel like chemistry came a little bit easily to me, but I think that if you putting the time in, Murphy is a good enough teacher that we're like in the very end maybe you'll have to do like a couple practice exams, but I think chem on its own you can do well with Murphy. And then can you give a list of the easiest APs? I think I did this in my last stream. It was like AP Government Politics, AP Psych, AP Environmental Science, AP Comp Sci Principles, and what was the last one? It was top five easiest to self study. Can't remember the last one, but yeah. So Matthew, you have any comments on that or anything?
I'm pretty sure you got all of them.
Yeah, I forgot the last one was. I feel like I should remember that. But yeah, okay. And then that's a good question. How much time do you sleep? What's your sleep schedule look like?
Uh, wait, I actually want to touch on Nelson comment about AP Chem because unlike you, I actually was super bad at
Okay,
AP
you had more though.
Chem. Okay, okay, yeah, we had a long-term sub, and honestly, I was super disinterested in the class. Like, I get PTSD when there's like a anything about molecules. Like, I actually hate that class. So I got a B in that class. Like, that's my only B. So that kind of shows that I do not like AP Chem. Um, i- if you're smart like Dylan over here, you probably just need to like you just need to pay attention in class, and you're probably okay. I know for a fact that AP Chem, like FRQs and MCQs are like really hard to the point where it reflects to the actual like AP test. It's like one of the only classes that actually do this. Like the averages will be like 40%,
Yeah.
curved all the way to 70%, which
Yeah,
is
for
super
real. The
realistic.
curves are stupid. Like
Which
it went from
is
like a 42 to
yeah.
like a 79. I'm like, what the
Hey,
heck?
hey, that's good. That's good. Hey, that's good. Yeah, so if you put in the work, like I know homework is optional. I think
Oh,
it still is, right?
is it?
Is
I'm not
homework
sure.
optional?
Yeah, we'll
Well,
see. We'll
okay,
see.
our year homework was
Yeah, same for
optional, and
us.
then since I hated the class, I did not take it. And like I averaged like all these like bad scores. I still got a B in the class, so it was not that bad. But like yeah, so if it doesn't come to you naturally, then I definitely say you have to put in the effort in class. And then if you don't understand a concept, really just watch like an organic tutor video like on YouTube, and I think you'd understand the subject a little bit better.
Yeah, and also like it's not just like paying attention in class. You also have to study for your test. You can't just like, aha, I paid attention during class. Let me just not study light work. So yeah, that's really important. Homework is kind of optional. She recommends that you do it, but she doesn't collect it. 80 months. Yeah. Yeah, I did the homework for the first 2 months until we got to the point where like each homework was 10 pages. I'm like, I don't really want to
Yeah.
do it anymore. So then I just stopped doing it. Winston is like he's crazy. He did every single homework. He got a five pretty easily as well. But
Yeah, so I'd say if you don't understand like what she teaches, you should probably like highly encourage to do the homework because it'll better like you'll understand like the concept better. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think a good way to do it is that like if she gives you the homework, just like look at it and see if you can understand. Like if you just look at the problem and you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, then like you should probably look over it. Like yeah, that's pretty important. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, so what
It's
AP
gonna
exams are the
sleep.
hardest?
You dodged the sleep question.
Oh yeah, you dodged it first.
Oh,
you wanna go
okay,
over it?
okay, okay.
All right, see.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so I have really poor time management. Like even though I'm taking all of these, like I'm president of two clubs, I take a whole bunch of AP classes. My sleep schedule is pretty bad. Like I sleep at like one, two, maybe three sometimes. Like I'll occasionally pull some all-nighters. Okay, you should not pull an all-nighter, by the way. Like I highly discourage.
All
Yeah,
right.
so I think it depends on your time management. Like if you go home, like do your homework instantly, or like you do homework in class, which I know some people do, then you won't have any trouble with like sleeping or anything. But if you're a procrastinator and like do like it's procrastinating, I feel like it makes me write like do better. So because it forces you to actually focus. So yeah, I think it depends on the person.
Yeah. So
And
is
you
the
do
one,
not
two,
want to
or
follow my
three? Is that
routine.
sorry? Is the one,
Yeah.
2, or 3 o'clock? Is that now or was that before
Okay, now I'm taking much easier AP classes.
physics?
Usually if I have like a club meeting, like I need to make slides or something, then I'd stay up until like 1. But usually it's like 11 or 12 now. Because honestly, senior I just hits different. Like you guys are like juniors, but when you hit senior, you'll understand. Like I do not care for anything. So even if I did not do the homework, I will sleep anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm already hitting that senioritis peak already. I don't know how. Like I just like why am I doing this work? I don't want to do like I'm already feeling it somehow. I don't know why. So I'm like senior year. I'm just gonna like just drop out or something. Like I'm just like I'm already reaching the peak. So I'm kind of scared now.
Yeah, yeah, especially junior year. If you're taking like 6 AP classes, you need to chill senior year. I think you need to reward yourself for all the things you've done the past 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, going back to the other
Ah,
question. So how what would you say are the hardest APs? Because like I have the list of the
ah.
statistically hardest ones,
Oh, yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have the I
Okay.
haven't I don't have the
Personally,
experience.
personally, with experience, I've taken pretty much all the hardest APs, and I'm taking like some APs now.
Physics.
Hardest is definitely AP Chem.
Mhm.
AP Chem, um, history came really easily to me. Like I did not have to like
Lucky.
grade. I didn't have to study for the AP test. Like I just watched time later and I got like a 4 easy. You just need to know how to write your DBQ. Um, what other hard classes? BC is super hard,
Okay,
especially
I
Dylan
don't
is in the
think
class right now.
your top two hardest ones are the ones where you had long term subs that didn't teach the subject. So like I'm not sure how. What do you think if you had that actual teacher? Do you think it would have been bad? I think chem I would agree, but it was calc that bad. I'm taking it right now, but like obviously I'm in the first part of the year.
Okay, I think BC has to be one of the hardest just because even teachers they know that the FRQ questions and like the MCQs is something you've literally never seen before. Okay, so like doing any practice tests, you will not see the same question ever on the FRQ. So you pretty much have to use your general knowledge about calculus, which is something like you learn throughout the year to like problem solve all of these word problems. And I'd say that's the hardest because it's not very two-dimensional. It's like super three-dimensional to the point where you have to like really think outside the box for that class. AP Chem, I just hated AP Chem, so I'm gonna say that's that's the hardest though.
Nah, that's fair.
Uh, I'm I don't really know what else is hard. I think it depends on the teachers. Honestly, most of the teachers at Marina are like super good, unless you get a long-term sub. So you should be fine, whatever class you take.
Yeah, Bex is asking AP Calc versus AP Stats. What is your opinion on that?
Oh, okay. So, okay, you wanna wait, do we skip any questions?
We'll get to, there's one question for me, but we'll get to that one after.
Okay. So the difference between AP Calc and stats is that it totally touches like different realms of math. Calculus, okay, pre-calc, you have to take that. I mean, you don't have to, but like it's recommended in high school. And then AP Calc BC is just like going beyond that. If you're doing STEM, I know you should probably take calculus, AB, BC. It doesn't really matter as long as you get a good score on the AP test, which transfers as a credit. AP Stats is much different from Calc because it's not really a math class. Like if you do it, you won't get credit for math in university, but you'll get stats credit, which is completely different than calc. Because in university it goes like all of the classes like geometry, algebra 2, pre-calc, like the same thing, and it goes calc 1, calc 2, calc 3, and then you go into linear algebra, which is like beyond that, and then you go into like higher div math classes. So if you really want to like do Calc BC, I mean, if you want to do STEM in the future, highly recommend Calc BC or AB.
Yeah. Okay. So just to make it more concrete, so let's say first of all, in difficulty, which one? How would those line up?
Okay, AP Calc, I'm gonna put it on like okay, BC, I'm gonna put it like a 9 out of 10 for hardness scale, and stats is probably 4 or 5. Like
Okay, so huge
stats is
difference.
much easier than Calc BC. Yeah.
How about like boringness? How easy is it to get bored?
Bored. Okay. Well, you can't really get bored with Calc BC because you probably won't be thinking it's boring. You probably thinking like, what the heck am I doing? Half of the time. AP stats, its probability, like, it's pretty easy. Like, I think it's pretty easy. Like, it's probably my best class this year. So, yeah, it's up to the person. Like, stats is not hard math. You just need to know, like, formulas, which is like algebra formula. So, it's super easy. And yeah, basically, AP Calc BC, yeah, if you want to do STEM in the future, I just do Calc BC.
Okay, yeah. So Nelson's just noting that BC has. He's asking if BC has a really big curve because the 5 rate is really high. I think Matthew can attest to it. It's not about the curve. It's pretty hard. It's just that.
Okay,
Oh yeah, you can go.
okay, the Calc BC, okay, regarding the actual AP test, the fact that no one has seen the questions before and then you have to think outside the box for it, they will definitely curve on like a huge scale. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like 50% people get 5. But okay, it's
Pretty close.
because like Calc BC is like all the smartest people in the school,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
like they all yeah, and you like studying it for the whole year, so they should be doing good. Yeah. If you're talking about Calc BC as a class, I'm a TA for that class, and I'd say that the curve is little to none because especially people like Dylan, they're like super smart, they ruin the curve. Yeah, Mr. Nguyen
Nguyen.
or Mr. Peach.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so the test content itself is hard, but they will score leniently.
Yeah. Okay. So to make it more concrete, Nelson, I think it seems like you missed last stream, which uh is on the YouTube channel, which it's in the link tree. Because so the way that AP exams are sort of scored is that it's not like 5 is a 90% or higher. It's that like using like statistics, they sort of measure out where like the equivalent of a it's like the idea is that a 5 on an AP exam is the equivalent of an A in a college class, and they sort of use statistics to determine what constitutes an A in a college class, what constitutes a B, and they also use some level of like just like intuition, like this looks like the difficulty of these tests would be like way too difficult compared to a college class. So like they use some level of like just thinking about it too. Uh, oh yeah, the VOD is on the YouTube channel, not on the Twitch. But yeah, so like Matthew said, the thing is that AP Calc BC is a high level class, which means that it selects for the smartest students in the school, and as a result, the people who are taking the test are just smarter. And like, okay, not smarter, but like they're generally more willing to try hard on the exam and like to prepare. So it just the selection of higher intellect students tends to, man, I sound so bad. Higher intellect students, but like it's just it selects for people who will do well in the exam. So it's like it
Yeah.
also like if you look at AP Physics C, the 5 rate for that is also absurd. It's like some like so Calc PC is like a 47% 2019, and I think Physics C Mechanics has like a 41% 5 rate. And it's just that both of those classes select for just the upper limit of students in like the in the school. And yes, okay, the VOD does not stays on Twitch for 14 days, but if you go to our YouTube channel, dude, I don't know the link to my YouTube channel, but I can just I can link the link tree and it'll be in there. Uh, so click that link. That'll lead you to a link tree. Oh my god, why is chat up here? Oh no, it's up here. It's supposed to be up here. All right, sorry. So yeah, go to the VODs channel. Do not go to the main YouTube channel. Okay. So yeah, that's just yeah that. Just to go back to Nelson's question, what am I taking this year? I'm gonna preface this by saying that it looks really hard, but it's not. Right? I get homework in 2 classes a day. No, okay. I'm not joking. Okay, it's not that bad in terms of homework. In terms of workload, the class sure. I'll say the class is hard, but like the workload is very low. It sounds like it's a lot, but it's not a lot of work, right? So AP Calc, AP Lang, normal U.S. history, okay, normal U.S. history, and then AP Spanish 4, AP Physics, C Mechanics, AP Bio. It sounds ridiculously hard, but math I get homework every day for math. English I almost never get homework. Oh, Matthew's gone. All right, he's back. Okay, and then history I never get homework. Spanish I get daily homework. Physics I get no homework basically. Bio I get like no homework. So like to colleges it looks ridiculous, but for me like the average daily workload is maybe an hour, half an hour. So it's actually kind of ridiculous. It's nice. It's just that the classes are hard, so when it comes to tests, I do have to sort of invest time into that, even though I don't.
It's
But
also because you're smart.
sure. All right. I think that's all the questions for now. We're sort of falling behind a little bit. All right. So, anything about high school you regret? We've already covered some of the bases, but anything in general that comes up?
Regrets. Honestly, I do not have any regrets.
Really?
Maybe,
Not the all nighters?
I don't.
You don't? Is your health not
I
suffering? You
don't.
don't care?
Yeah, I live with no regrets. Nah.
So you actually don't. Okay. Let's say like from a person who wants to get into a good college. Let's say they were in your position, right? What should they have regretted if they were in your position?
What they should have regretted. Oh, okay. They would have regretted not taking initiative to like have a leadership position for many clubs because I know there's a lot of people who like dedicate to their time. Okay, I'm gonna say example is Key Club. Okay, I'm not bashing them or anything, but like I know this guy. He had 1,000 hours of community service. 1,000. Okay, and the only school he made it into was UCR.
Dang, wait, UCR's like bottom
Yeah,
tier.
exactly. So you really want to push yourself to have a leadership position, even if it's like a mid tier or low tier club. Like there's not a lot
Chess
of
club.
people. Is is better than being just a member in Key Club because okay, like Key Club is like a division thing and it's like throughout the country. There's like thousands of people in Key Club and just being a member and showing up to events is not good enough to go into the top tier schools.
Yeah, I would agree. Like just sort of like being like a member of clubs doesn't show anything about you. You're just another faceless person who has like service hours and they go to the meetings. But when you have like a like position in the club, it sort of like sticks you up a notch, and then it also allows you to like Matthew did sort of paint a story instead of just being like because when you're just a participant, you become someone nameless and you just don't really matter. Whereas when you have a position, you sort of are given like you're given something to work with. And okay, so Bex is asking, does school have algebra tutor during summer? So this gets into what I did. I'm assuming that means that you're in geometry right now. So if you're trying to get ahead in math, right? They do have algebra. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do have normal algebra 2 right now over the summer, not algebra 2 trig. So what that means is that you can take algebra over the summer, but you're still missing the trig, which means that you can only go into normal pre-calculus. And that means that unless you take calculus 1 over the summer, then you can take, like basically what happens is that you can accelerate a little bit, but So what would happen? Let's say you want to take Calc BC, right? What you would have to do is take Algebra 2 this summer, right? You take Precalculus normal Precalculus during the school year. Then you take Calculus 1 over the summer, which I don't recommend, by the way. And then you can hop into Calc BC senior year, right? Transfer from another. Yeah, you transfer from another country. I forgot about that part. Okay, yeah. Vonight's asking, can you take pre-calc over the summer? You can take normal pre-calculus over the summer, which means that next year you can hop into Calc AB. You cannot hop into BC because that requires pre-calculus honors, which is not something that is covered in colleges. Unless you want to take my route, which is you sort of you spam the math director with emails and then you skip. But I don't think that's supposed to be legal.
That is not recommended, by the way.
Yes,
You
highly
should
not
not do
recommended.
that.
It's technically
You should
illegal, so do
not
not
do
do it.
that.
And also, yeah, it also
Like,
kills your brain. You really don't want to do that.
yeah.
I had to spend my whole winter break studying Algebra 2 Trig, and then I spent 3 months of of pandemic, like 2 hours a day studying pre-calculus, and then I spent 2 months studying AP World, and then my summer I spent a good amount of it learning calculus. So it's like it's a lot of work. Oh yeah, I asked you about that, Dylan. Do you think it's viable? Yeah, I don't. It depends. You're going to STEM, right? So what that means is that ideally you want to take BC because that gives you Calculus 2 credit. Calc AB only gives you Calculus 1 credit, even though it covers a lot of the similar stuff. It just BC has a little bit extra that gives you that bump into Calc 2. So you're in what? You're in Algebra 2 Trig right now, which means that yeah, you're only viable. Wait, there's no difference. Yeah, you can just go through your normal path, Nelson. You take Precalc next year as a junior, Precalc honors as a junior. You take BC as a senior. You get through all this stuff, unless you want to like, because so the other route. Actually, the other route's not good. But okay, just to flesh it out, the other route is you take pre-calculus this summer, which means that junior year you're going to Calc AB, right? Which means that by the end of that year, by the end of junior year, you have finished Calculus 1 credit. Then you can take Calculus 2 your summer, and then you can take Calculus 3 if you want to go that far. Calculus 3 during your fall semester of senior year, and then you can go further if you want. I don't. I think that takes you to the same place though, because you just end up with Calculus 2 credit at the end of senior year. Whereas I guess you could go a little faster, but that's like a lot of extra work that I don't recommend you take on.
Yeah, okay. So honestly, you should not try to rush like your math courses. You should just take the normal path. Like you take pre-calc junior year and then BC or AB senior year is good enough, honestly. Like unless you want to go to like what Harvard, then maybe you want to try to push for Calc 3 somewhere. Like you want to like take Calc 2, Calc 1 like during the summer. I do not recommend that. You're gonna die. Because especially in calculus, you really need like
Yeah,
a teacher, like an in-person teaching you because a lot of stuff are like brand new. It's just not algebra. So you really need like guidance for that.
yeah. Calc BC is like I would just say it's like algebra, geometry, and trig on steroids. Like it's just like if you don't have that foundation, you're just gonna crack right away.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you're just gonna crack without the foundation. So yeah, and then also going back to like so I took that one path that's not allowed. And if I just think about like fundamentally why I did it, it was just straight up out of ego. Like there was no good reason that I do that. Because if I wanted to demonstrate to colleges that oh I really wanted to get in math, I would just join a math Olympiad and I would try to crush people. That's the best way to show that you're into math, not by skipping a year. Even though I didn't, that wasn't the original plan. But like it's just that when you want to demonstrate to college something about your interest, you don't do it in the classroom. You do it outside the classroom even if you're studying outside the classroom to
Exactly.
make advances inside the classroom, that's not as ideal as just straight up pushing yourself outside the classroom. So yeah, what Matthew said, just follow the path you're on, and if you want to demonstrate that you're capable of more, then demonstrate it outside the classroom. Just because inside the classroom, there's so many sort of requirements. Like I couldn't take calculus 1 over the summer because I just didn't meet prerequisites, and there's just so many barriers. Whereas when you do things just like out of your own like volition during your free time, there really are very few barriers. So it's just way easier to demonstrate your interest. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's move on to this standardized testing. Do you have any opinions? This is the SAT, ACT, PSAT, AP advice.
Okay. I don't know how because the test optionals mostly, except for a few private schools, they might look at it. I'm not sure. It depends. But UC's the test blind, you do not really need to do it. Okay, but if you want to take it anyways, I didn't take the SAT, ACT because I know for a fact that SAT is more standardized to the point where there's no science. Okay, that's the difference. There's no science on the SAT because the ACT does have science. And I think SAT is more faster paced, I think, because the questions are more simpler. And I recommend to get this book called okay, I forgot what's this called. It's like SAT book black edition. It's not black, but hold on. Let
Mm,
me search it up.
it is SAT Prep Black Book, the most effective SAT strategies ever published. Mike Barrett and Patrick
Yeah, that
Whitney.
one. Okay, that one you can crack the code to the SAT. Like it'll tell you all the patterns. It'll give you like the content, like a little bit of content you need, and then it'll show you all the patterns. It'll give you answers to the practice test, which is on the AP website, which is you should totally take if you want to do the SAT because that's like your main form of practice. Because honestly, like the Barron books and stuff like that, they're not as standardized compared to what College Board gives you because they're testing like a whole bunch of people across the country, right? So they need some way to make it like a have an even playing field for everyone. So they want it so whatever class you take, it doesn't matter as long as you like know the core knowledge. So I recommend getting that book. It'll tell you all the patterns to SAT. Okay, for PSAT, my school we took it in 8th grade, which is not normal for other schools.
How did that
Um,
turn out for you?
I got it was pretty good. Okay, because since we were ahead in math, we kind of forgot like the information. So the fact that we took it like at an early stage allowed us to like reciprocate all their knowledge onto that test. I did pretty good. I got like a 94th percentile,
Oh, dang. Okay.
which was like a 1220.
Oh,
It wasn't that bad because um okay, it was 8th grade. A lot of people do not study for that test. I do not recommend pouring your heart into the PSAT. I know it gives you some type of national merit scholarship, but if I'm being honest, the credibility that takes you is not really that far. Like it'll just show you that you're smart at like a standardized test, which some colleges might not think is impressive. Like it's better than nothing, but you really don't have to study for that. And it's honestly just for practice, like how to time because SAT it goes really fast. Like you really need to know, get your timing down. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
do you have any? Actually, yeah. Okay. So just for the people who weren't there for the last stream again, so the main difference between SAT and ACT, as far as my personal experience with practice tests, is that ACT is easier questions, slightly easier. They're not easy, but they're slightly easier questions. But the time constraints are a lot more pressing, in my opinion. Whereas and then like the SAT, they tend to be a little bit harder, but in terms of time, it's still fast, but it's not as pressing
Really?
as the ACT. Both are fast and both are hard, but I'd say like just like if you had to look for differences, those would be the two that I point out. And then for the
Mm.
PSAT, do not take that, I would say, for practice because you can always find practice tests online. Because like I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think you
true.
should pay for a practice like
Mm.
unless like your problem is test anxiety where like if you're in the real setting then you get
Yeah.
messed up. Like I personally don't have that, so for me it would not be worth it. But if test anxiety is a thing for you, then maybe that's something to look into. The main purpose of PSAT, in my opinion, would be more so the scholarship, not necessarily being the national merit scholar, but that if you're in like I don't know what the percentile is anymore because like I think it's become ridiculous in play. Like I think you have to be 99th percentile, but if you hit that mark, you get a $2,500 scholarship, which is a lot for a scholarship. Most scholarships will not provide you that money, especially if it's just like for taking a test. So that's a huge bump if something that you should probably look into if you need that type of stuff. Okay, so last thing is this for high school. So there's a lot of aspects of life, specifically like you have academic, right? You have social, you have your sleep, which is a third of your life, or maybe not for you, but and then there's also like your personal stuff, like gaming, like hobbies and stuff. So how did you personally balance?
How did I balance this? Okay, academics, I honestly, everything was online last year, which was weird, and I'd say that was definitely the hardest year. Well, we all know during pandemic we just do whatever we want, honestly, for academic. Okay, for extracurricular, you really need to go out of your way and like spend time. Okay, don't just go to these events, okay? You need to put some initiative into okay, you going to this event kind of shows commitment to like the board members. Wow, okay, this guy is really committed to the club, right? So you should probably try to strive into a board position. And then once you get that board position, it depends what role you get, but it's usually not that time consuming unless you're like a president or something, that it might be a little bit. Um, so okay, yeah. Studying, you should okay, just understand the topic, okay? If you understand the topic, like you pay attention in class and then okay, do the homework, that should be enough knowledge until like you reach like the test, like the few days before the test. Then you should review what you did, and then like if they give you a study guide, you should go over that. But if you like want to study more, I like as long as you like do the bare minimum and like take notes in class and like do all these homework, you should be fine.
Yeah, but so how did you sort of balance personally all those things, especially social life? Because I find that like I can handle
Oh, okay,
academics
okay,
and stuff,
okay.
but like for me, it's difficult to fit in the social part.
Okay, well, I think mm, for academic, I pretty much, if I did not do it the first day it came out, I literally did it like the last possible minute. Okay, it might sound bad, but it forces you to like
Mhm.
a time constraint to the point where it's sort of like automatically balancing your life. And then okay, extracurriculars is it honestly okay, unless you're going to an event, which is usually on the weekend, um, then you should be fine. It won't be that time consuming. So that's academics, social life. I really recommend like just going out on the weekends with your friends. Yeah, so just honestly just go out like over the weekend with your friends or something, because especially if you're taking a lot of AP classes, it's gonna be like really stressful, and then just being like going to school and then going home and like staying home over the weekend is like pretty bad for your mental. So I just recommend like if you can't balance it, just try to fit all of them in, okay? Like it doesn't have to be perfect balance. It doesn't have to be
Mhm. For
like a
sure.
25%, 25%, 25%, like because there's no way, okay? No perfect human can take all these AP classes, president of like 10 million clubs, like, go out with their friends like every day. It's not possible. So you just gotta choose like what's your priority. Like if you want to get into good school, I recommend yeah. So pay attention in the class academically. Uh, do well. Um, if you want to have fun, then just find like a hobby or just hang out with your friends. Social life. That's just like a few hours on the weekend. It doesn't have to be that much. Like honestly, we have like okay, after school, you have like, "Hey, Dylan, when do you sleep?"
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I try to go to bed at 9, but usually I end up going to bed at like 9:30 or 9:45.
What?
Yeah, but like
What?
I'm on the grind
Okay,
at
okay,
work.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's 8 hours. Wait,
Nine
when do you
hours.
get out of school?
Get out of school. Usually about 3, let's say. But
Yeah,
I
okay,
end up
so if
home
you have a
maybe
sport,
3:30.
it's yeah, okay, that's like 6 hours. Okay, maybe 1 hour to eat dinner, eat
Mhm.
a snack here or there. Honestly, every day the maximum amount of homework is probably like 2 hours. Like, just don't procrastinate. Like you'll be
Don't
able to do
procrastinate.
two
Just don't
hours a
procrastinate.
day. I procrastinate, but
You know how hard it is to just
if
don't.
you do, yeah, yeah, it's pretty
Nah.
hard. But if you want to have like a chill life, really just do 2 homework hours a day. That should be enough. And after that, do whatever you want. Okay, because if you do 2 hours a day, just you trying to practice every day is basically repetition. So you understand the topics better, um, and just do the homework. It'll probably be due. Like if you have an essay, just do like spend 30 minutes, because essays, it's like in class essays. You don't really have to prepare for those. like most assignments, you should be able to do it really quickly, unless it's like a physics bookwork.
Yeah.
Then
We get a lot of time. Usually for longer
then
assignments, the
yeah.
teachers are more lenient for time.
Yeah, so people who have trouble balancing their life, they usually procrastinate a lot, or they just go on TikTok for like 10 hours.
Yeah. So how do you advise people to not not
Uh, I'm struggling with it, but some tips you can do is like, I know you do homework in class. Like,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
a
so like
good
I
idea.
came to a very specific structure. Like I thought about it a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, okay, maybe this is helpful for people. So this is okay, so I'm gonna start off with my ideal, like this is what my plan was, is my idealized day. And then I'm gonna move into what I actually do. But basically, so I wake up at 6, right? I do my normal morning routine stuff. I leave school for school maybe 7 o'clock, 7:05. That's like the ideal. And then on the way to school, I listen to the news because I have to do academic world quest stuff. So I have to keep up with current news. And then school starts at
Right?
7:30. During math, Mr. Nguyen does notes, but like he does like one slide of notes and the rest are examples. So I take the notes and then I do the homework during the
Yeah.
examples because Matthew is the teacher aide, so the homework is always up during class. So I can always do it during class. And then the rest of my classes, I cannot actually do homework because like I actually got to be focused on that class.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what ends up happening is that I only usually get homework in Spanish. So I'll do my Spanish
Yeah.
homework at lunch because like yeah, I just do my Spanish homework at lunch after I eat, and then school happens, then tennis, and then from so I allow myself. So I sort of allow the time from 7:30 to 3:30. That is the time I'm allowed to get homework done. I cannot like this is the ideal world. It never happens, but the ideal world is that homework is never done at home. Homework is always done by the time before I get home. So 3:30, right? I finish my homework. So from 3:30 to 4, I'm on the way home, earbuds back in, listening to the news because I gotta keep up with the news. Right? This is ideal world. Never happens, but yeah. And then after that, 4 to 5, 4 to 5:30 ish before dinner, because I eat dinner early. The family eats dinner pretty early. I do extracurricular work, so like club work, or like I'm also like a number of different positions, which we'll get into later. So yeah, that's until dinner, and then dinner, which is about 5:30, until 7 o'clock is what I allot for spending time with family. So like we go for a walk, we eat dinner, just like talk, just that type of stuff. Because like this is the ideal world, by the way, guys. This almost never happens. Okay, just I need to preface that because like it sounds so ideal. I've yet to have a perfect day yet. So yeah, and then 7 to 8 is so I personally have spent a good amount of pandemic getting into programming stuff, coding stuff, but I haven't gone deep into it. And like when I look at my persona to colleges, it looks like I'm a dude who just did all the things that look like they would look good on college apps, but there's no person there. So like, okay, what do I do from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock? So I've been looking into getting into like electronic stuff, specifically like I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Arduino, Raspberry Pis, but basically building projects that are revolving around that and sort of automating
Ooh,
things. So
damn.
that's the ideal world, okay? And then I from 8 to 9 is sort of my like wind down routine. Go to bed, preferably be like 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's ideal world. So now we get into the real world. Okay? Real world is I wake up at 6, and then I still wake up at 6. Morning routine usually goes pretty well, but uh, on the way to school, I don't listen to the news because it's boring, and I have to take notes, so I don't listen to the news. And then I get to there, and then I listen to the news from walking into the school to getting to Nguyen's classroom, which is about a minute. So instead of half an hour, I get 1 minute of the news. And then when I walk in, I try to listen to the news, but then Mr. Nguyen's there, and there are other people there, so people try to talk to me, and I can't listen to the news. And then the doing the homework in Mr. Nguyen's class that actually happens. Like Matthew can attest. Like I actually
Yeah.
usually get the homework done during class. And then at lunchtime, it depends on club work, but usually I actually also get homework done uh, during lunch as well. The
Mm.
only problem is that I don't get it done. So then what happens, like I finish tennis at 3 o'clock. I'm like, shoot, I got homework to do. So then I'm like, okay, let's go home early. Let's do the homework. And instead of listening from like 3:30 to 4 o'clock to the news, I'm on YouTube. And then I shower. And then I'm like, okay, it's time to do extracurricular work. But then I can't finish extracurricular work by 5 p.m. So then I end up bleeding into the time from 7 to 8, which is supposed to be like my hobby work. So then I do extracurriculars until 8 p.m. But then by then I'm not done with it, so I have to keep going into the time I'm supposed to be winding down. So usually I finish doing that stuff by 8:30. So then an hour long wind down, which is about 9:30. And then even then, I still don't get enough work done. So my weekends are completely packed with work. So like let's say Veterans Day yesterday, that was all work. I didn't spend any time with friends. It was basically all me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my day.
Yeah, okay. Well, one problem I see is that it doesn't seem like you have fun.
Exactly. That's what I was actually.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's the issue. Okay, it's clear that you're trying to strive for like a top school, right? With all these like hard work.
Okay, yeah. So the
Like,
funny part is that I don't even know
yeah.
whether I want to not go to community college because like yeah, I'm still considering community
No,
college
no,
my
no.
choice. Yeah, so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah,
like I'm doing a lot of stuff
yeah.
for community college.
Okay, but if you're trying to have fun like me, okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, but like the thing
like
is that like
okay.
I think that the pandemic has deprived me of my ability to have fun. I don't know how, but like I don't know how to socialize anymore. I don't know how to do things anymore. So like
Yeah.
I'm able to survive without being bored doing that work.
Mm.
It just feels kind of like monotonous at this point, but I can get stuff
Mhm.
done. Like like so like a lot of time like this sort of like mixing work and having fun together. Like this is pretty fun, even though it's considered like club work. This is like
What?
okay.
Oh,
You think
the
this is gonna be
club.
fun
Okay.
compared to like writing like making a
Yeah, yeah,
post.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like my day, so that people understand what like
Mm-hmm.
what's coming on from my side.
Okay. On the other hand, my day is
Yeah,
I
let's hear
wake up.
this.
I wake up 30 minutes before school, which is like okay. I
Oh,
have
we're at
zero
least doing something.
period.
This is zero period.
I okay. So I wake up at 7 o'clock. Dress 10 minutes. Do not eat breakfast. I drive. It only takes like 15 minutes. Go to school. Uh, okay. So school ends. I get home at 3. I literally take a nap, play games, watch anime, whatever I do until like 7 o'clock, and then I do homework for like 7 o'clock. Okay, that's like I after I eat dinner and I just do homework like all that's due or like ahead of time, which honestly is pretty good. You get like and then you sleep at 12, which is like 7 hours of sleep and like almost 4 or 5 hours of work. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And then you can just mess around the weekend and then study and do whatever you want need on Sunday night.
Yeah. So where do extracurriculars fit in for you? Because it doesn't. I don't see it
Okay,
written down
yeah.
here.
So amnesty is every other week, so I just do that like Sunday. Like I let my board know what they have to do.
Hmm.
Or if they put some input, then I take that input and then I divide the work on like the Sunday before. And then for VSA, okay, honestly, if you have a good team, it should not take that long. Like I'm the president, I only probably only spend like 2 hours the day before to make the slides or whatever or organize. And if there's any events, I probably just like, hey yo, this person, I need this event, and then I'd be like, yeah, here are the details, and to try to get it done. It's probably not even like 2 or 3 hours a
Dang,
week
that's solid.
besides like going to the actual events. Okay, all right, Dylan. How do you spend so much time on extracurriculars, like clubs?
What does that mean?
Like, hey, I feel like you spend a lot of time like in these clubs. Okay, what is that time used for?
Okay, first thing is that okay, so the majority of my time that's used efficiently is making posts because I'm just so absolutely trash at making posts. And okay, actually no, I'm not gonna say this, but basically I make most of the posts for Project Illuminate, and also Chess Club.
Yeah.
Chess Club, I don't make. I only made two
Mm.
just because Kim was sick during the time, so like that's fair, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
But like for Project Illuminate, I basically do a good amount of it, and
Yeah.
yeah, so like I don't know, it's just like a lot. It's just a lot of stuff, and also like yeah, okay. I guess we should just get into this question now. I was kind of stalling it because there's in like a later section, but let's get to it. So let's say I want you to imagine that you're me, right? Because I'm just gonna give you my whole list of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna give me
Okay, yeah,
advice
yeah.
and stuff, right? So first, you
Yeah,
already know
yeah.
my schedule, right? So now I'm just gonna spit out my extracurricular
Yeah,
schedule,
yeah.
right? So I have school, and then I have
Uh-huh.
tennis. Okay, tennis. So
Mhm.
I play
2 or
varsity
3:30,
tennis,
right?
huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I play varsity tennis, but I'm not guaranteed a spot on the team, which means that I need to
Yeah,
invest
yeah.
time into it to get better, and also to
Mhm,
make sure that I'm actually like making an impression on the coaches, right? So that's one
mhm.
aspect. Yeah, varsity chess and varsity tennis, and then also this chess club, right? President of that, and I also have to maintain my chess skills because I'm supposed to be the president. so I have to be decent at chess, right?
Okay.
And then Project Illuminate, theoretically, it's my okay, not theoretically, it's my club, which means that I can do however much or little I want to do. But
Mm.
like I try my best to do some like a good amount of stuff. Like if you look at the Instagram, usually at most a week and a half between posts or between opportunities and stuff. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, so like I try not to slack too much on that, right? I'm also so there's this organization called STEM from Scratch. I am a blog writer there, so I write articles. Usually, something maybe like once every
Oh,
month or two. So it's very light.
okay.
It's light work, but it's still something that takes
Okay,
that
okay.
sort of bleeds in. I'm also doing academic world quest. I ended up somehow the team captain of that. And okay, to be
Somehow.
fair, I'm slacking off so much on that. Like,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
hopefully, like Jessica, Carissa, or like
Mm,
like they're not watching this right now. But like, I am slacking off so hard, and like I'm supposed to be the team captain, but like they're probably doing more than I am. So like I'm slacking off
mm.
on that. Also, MHS, the academic decathlon, I'm also slacking off on that too. But
Hey,
I want to compete in that because it's something I want to do,
okay.
right? There's that. I also have hobbies I want to get better at. Like piano, I'm not the dude who like spends his time practicing, but like I have enough fundamental basic knowledge that I could, if I want to learn a song, I can just go on YouTube and I can like look at the tutorials and then I can get there somehow, right? So I want to play piano for fun sometimes. I also want
Mm,
to make coding or like just general programming a decent part of my time,
yes.
but I just cannot fit it in because of extracurriculars, right?
Yes.
And what else do I have in there? Just other stuff. Okay, let's just start with that, right? That's a lot of stuff, right? So what do you?
Okay,
And also I
okay.
also have that huge academic load. So yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
okay.
What do you do
So
with that?
first of all, I would never do that to myself.
Okay, to be fair, what happens
All
is that
right.
like these things will approach me individually. Like, it would
Okay,
be like,
yeah, okay.
oh yeah,
I'm
this
like,
academic work class. Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, it's also okay.
mm,
Yeah, I
mm,
remember the other stuff now. So I also have the Imagine Cup, right?
yeah,
It's just a bunch of small competitions. So also the
yeah,
Ocean
yeah,
Science
yeah.
and
Okay,
Engineering Fair.
so
I want to do that. It's just a bunch of small events that I want to do.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
I think
good stuff.
the massive difference is that well, I only do stuff that like I'm actually like interested in or like will put my 100%. Like, okay, I could have done World Quest, like, because history is easy, whatever.
Lucky.
I could have done all these extra stuffs, but like I didn't choose to do them just because like I'm not really interested in them. Well, you're clearly like wanting to be like the top dog,
Okay, no, the
so
thing is that
it's fine if you want to do
when I
that.
hear of the opportunity, it sounds really interesting. It's
Yeah.
just my interest diminishes with
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Like
just
chess goes,
that's just
oh,
me.
chess is fun. It's just like everything. At some point in time, when I did sign up for it, it was fun. It seemed really fun, and then sometimes my like
Yeah.
my enjoyment of it sort of fluctuates.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think you're just getting burnt out because you have a lot of stuff to do, right? Like you're a
Okay, to
busy
be fair, I
man.
don't feel like I'm burning
Well,
myself
it's
out.
clear that. Oh, okay, okay. Just wait until next year. And so then, I think your issue is that you're doing too much stuff. Like I honestly would have no idea how to balance it. Like I would have no time to socialize or have fun. And then these hobbies, I feel like you know, it's mostly focused on your college resumes. And
Hmm.
then I do not recommend doing stuff just for your college. Like I play video games just because I like doing it, and I'm not trying to like become the next Steve Jobs or anything. But okay, to balance it, I say, I think you should learn how to balance your extracurriculars because it seems like you're good at academics, but your extracurriculars, you have too much on your hand. So
The thing is that
okay,
okay,
I think
it looks like my stuff's not fun, but I actually enjoy some of the stuff that I do.
you crazy but hey, you ask anyone else in this chat, they will not think that's fun.
Yeah, because they're not on the
I
inside. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know. I find
okay.
some of these things just suck. Like sometimes I just suck at making posts because I can't find the right fonts and colors. And like just finding fonts and colors is the most tedious, boring thing I ever have to do. But then when it looks good in the end, it's kind of satisfying.
Yeah. So I think you just need to learn how to. Well, I think first of all, I think you have too much sleep. You sleep at 9 o'clock. That's crazy.
How? What
Like,
does that even mean? Okay,
yeah,
so what if I told
you
you that
only
the sleep
need
I get enables me to do the stuff that I can do?
no, 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 no. Okay, you only need 8. Okay, you have like 10.
I get 9. I get 8.5.
You get nine,
9 to
nine.
6.
Everyone knows you just need 8. You need 8 or 7. Okay, I
Yeah,
recommend
you only
7 just
need 8.
because
What if I told you I function better on 9?
you don't though. Hey, no, you don't.
Are you
You're
sure?
wasting time. Yeah, you're wasting time. Okay, yeah. Well, okay. If you're totally fine with just like having your extracurriculars as like your fun thing to do, then that's totally fine. But like,
Mhm.
I need to socialize. I need to like get out. And if I was like someone else, like incoming freshmen, incoming juniors, or sophomore, then you should really take things that you're interested in just and not pad your resume unless you're like really interested in it, like Dylan. But you should know what you're getting yourself into before you sign up for it.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
pretty
really
much
good
it.
point because
Yeah.
okay, half the stuff like I knew what I was getting myself into, but then I just got knocked into something else. Like World Quest, I
Yeah.
was not supposed to be team captain. I was just supposed to be like one of the competitors for Dawn. But then I got bumped to the team captain. In chess club, I was supposed to be VP, but then I got bumped up to president because he transfers out of another school. So like it buffs my resume up, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
So like
Nah, if you're having fun with it, that's cool. That's cool. I think you're fine.
yeah, so let's say you were in my position. Like let's say you enjoy some of the stuff I do, but like also there's a lot
Hmm.
of stuff. What would you do?
Yeah.
What do you think I should do?
I'd figure out how to make. Am I lagging out?
Yeah, you're chilling.
Okay, so I think for your clubs, you need to divide your work with your board. That's why there's a board.
Mm-hmm.
That will.
Figuring that
What
out.
else? All right, tennis. You can just do that after school. Let's chill.
Oh yeah, okay. Like so, like tennis is one of the things that I truly just enjoy. Like I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
no,
yeah,
no, yeah. I
that's my
understand. Yeah,
form of. Okay, it's sad, but like that's the only way that I can actually socialize and not feel awkward. It's so sad,
no,
but
that's
like
good.
it works for me, and
Like,
I'll take whatever I can
if
get.
you don't have that, you're probably cooped up at home, and it's really bad for
Hmm.
you. What else you have? You have okay, all the hobbies and stuff you want to do for fun. Okay, that's the stuff I would do like right after school.
Right after school.
And then yeah, well you're and then I like do my homework like honestly all the hard classes at the school they do not give you a lot of homework.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah. Just get that done real quick and then I'm telling you, you have to sleep at 12 because you don't have time for like the rest of these and then you just add everything at the end of the night.
What do you mean?
That's what I would do.
No, you kind of cut off. I didn't get the words you said.
Oh, okay. So, everything else like playing chess, coding, whatever fun thing you want to do, I would do that like before I go to sleep because what you finish your homework already, so just have fun before you sleep, and then
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
what I
pretty much
7, 8
it.
o'clock.
Yeah,
Well, the ideal
yeah,
world.
yeah. But then, except I would spend more time on it by sleeping later.
I see. That's actually a
Yeah,
decent point. I think.
that's how I would do it.
Okay, yeah, this is getting too much about me. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Okay, let's say
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
freshman right now, right?
Mhm.
What would your path or what would you want to do? Like imagine you just
Ooh,
got
okay.
reverted back.
It depends as a freshman. Like, okay, I would probably choose the same path. I'd actually do things earlier. Like you're already on top of it. Like you're doing all this stuff like junior year, but like I stopped up senior year. So I would if I was a freshman, I follow all my classes again. Like all these hard AP classes, they're not really hard. Just like, and then
All right, light work.
play a sport. Play a sport. Hey, you need to play a sport. It's good for you.
Hmm.
Badminton is good. Join badminton team. And what else? Join two or three clubs that you actually want to get into, and then try to aim for one or two board positions for each of them. Yeah, and then once you hit junior year, it's gonna be super hard.
Matthew, yeah, you're frozen. Shoot. All right. Let's see. While Matthew's figuring stuff out. Oh, I guess I missed that question. If you're foreign, is it possible to get scholarship from PSAT? I don't know if you're a foreign exchange student or if you're actually if
And wait, if you do not know what you're doing,
okay, wait, Matthew, you were cut out for the past like minute.
Yo, did I lag out?
You were completely frozen for the
Shoot.
past minute.
What?
Yeah.
I see so much. Ah, what did I stop at?
Yo, what did he stop that chat? I don't
I
know.
forgot, dude. I forgot. I forgot. Hey guys.
Oh no, last thing you said was like get into a sport.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Get into sport. Be active. Honestly, just do stuff that you want to do. Get board
Mhm.
positions for like 2 clubs. I think I said that already,
Yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, badminton. Yeah. Uh, meet meet a lot of people around the school. Like I think you should branch out. I think that's really important because like sometimes it gets boring like just hanging out with the same group of people. But if you meet like new people like same like I don't want to say skill level, but like same level as you, then you can like relate with each other. So yeah.
yeah. How do you go about doing that? Let's say you're me. How do you go about doing that for me?
Okay. You, I'd say first step is to join clubs. All right, clubs. You meet new people, just talk to people.
Yeah, so let's say like, but like, there's so many
And
clubs. How do I choose? Let's say I'm,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I wouldn't. Okay, unless you're like really popular, then I would steer away from Key Club or Kiwi. Actually, Kiwi's fine. Kiwi's fine. But Key Club is like really popular. You probably it'd be really hard to make friends. But you should go to like these clubs are cool because it's like really
go to the
small,
link and
but you're
social.
able to like meet new people. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, hey, shout out to VSA, but like, people with like common interests and like common background, it's easy to like connect with each other. Sports, it's really easy to talk to people too. And then just talking to people around you during class, this is usually like common in like freshman year, sophomore years. But yeah.
All right. Let's see. Unless we have questions, this is going to be the last question. What is the general advice you would give to just people watching right now? Like they're active
Hmm.
enough to take interest in a club that's relatively small, and they want to
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
improve themselves.
If you want to improve your stuff, I'd say, all right, first you need to get in a routine, okay? This is how you balance your life. You have to get in a routine.
How do you do
Like
that?
just like, well, split up the time you do homework, split up the your hobbies, like just separate them and like balance you be able to have a life balance so you don't burn out. I'm saying unless you're Dylan, you're gonna burn out really fast if you take all these hard classes and like take all these extracurriculars. So I'd say get a good balance. Get to know teachers. I think getting to know teachers is really important because you might want like a lot of rec.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Well, just how to do that. I say okay. I'm not the one to say this, but like you should probably participate in class. Okay, participating in class is somewhat good because hey, it might be somewhat cringe, but you pay attention and the teacher will also notice you. Okay,
Yeah, no, I know it's the
like
right thing, but
extra cut.
it's just like,
Yeah, yeah, and then
fair.
get to know teachers. Like, ask questions. You don't have to be really formal with them. Like half of them, they do not actually care.
Yeah, I figured that out this year.
Uh,
Like, if you
yeah,
treat teachers like your friend, they treat you like a
yeah,
friend. That was
exactly.
I didn't realize that until this year. But like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just treat them like one of your bros. Yeah, like you don't
yeah, exactly.
treat them like like. Because I'm so used
Um,
to treating like, oh yeah. It's like, oh thank you. Like it's like I used to treat them like that, and I'm like, man, how do you just get close to them like this? It was like, yeah. Now I realize you just treat them like friends, and they sort of end up
yeah,
liking you.
exactly.
Oh yeah, so
And okay, what else? Okay, don't be fed up with your grades because like if you get like an F on this test, like it honestly on the
physics.
long run, I can remember getting like I do not remember getting an F in like freshman year, which I probably did. And I probably like was super depressed about it, but right now I do not remember. I do not care about it. So yeah, don't get fed up with your grades. Don't get fed up with your ranking because that honestly does not reflect anything. Try to in clubs, you should try to get leadership positions to show you for college apps, you want to build this like story around yourself. And I think when you hit senior year, you can't really if you don't have a lot of things lined up, it's gonna be really hard to like think of one. But if you build up your story along your years, then it'll be much easier when the time comes. What else? Um, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say.
All right, so just to recap. So you said get a routine, get to know your
Yes,
teachers. Shoot,
yes.
what else did I say? Yeah, I took a memory loss, man. I wasn't focusing.
Jeez, I
Um,
forgot too.
all right. Shoot. You're up to
uh,
this side, guys. Chat, you want to help? Um, build up your narrative over the course of a few years.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Was there anything else? Don't focus too much on grades or ranking,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah.
like just individual grades. It means nothing.
I try to get leadership positions. I think that's it.
All right, chat. This is the Q&A part. You guys have any questions?
Yay. Just ask whatever. I do not care.
Can I sign up as crew of Project Illuminate? That's a good question. I was thinking about this early in the year, and I didn't. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna write it down because I think this is something to consider. Are there any other questions while I sort of work on organizing this? Also, yeah, Matthew, how do you organize? How do you personally organize your stuff?
Oh, how do I organize? I personally just uh I use an app called Notion, which is basically
Dang,
like
you use
a
Notion? Okay.
yeah, I do. It's basically like a really cool, like simplistic note-taking app, but there's also lists and stuff like that. Okay, hold on. Is in-state apps and out-of-state apps different? Okay, yeah, okay. Especially, I'm gonna use California because we live in California. Uh, the thing I referred to earlier, the UCs is okay. This Cal State. Oh no, this community college. Okay, pretty much you're guaranteed to go to them if you apply for them because they're like basically preliminary college, and you just take like general education, and after that you have Cal States. Okay, Cal States does not require you to write any essays. Okay, they just look at your grade, your curriculum, your extracurricular, and that's it. And then okay, hold on. Let me answer. And then UCs is basically the next level, which is everything, and then you add the competitiveness of like top students, and then you also add personal insights, which I think basically makes a difference in getting accepted or not. And then on top of that, there's private schools. Um, the out of state apps you're referring to, I'm gonna guess is private school. I think okay, you can apply to public schools that is not in a state. It'll pretty much be the same thing as the UC, but it just be like a different application, like probably different personal insights. But and it probably costs more, so I do not recommend doing that if you want to save money. But I know private schools that give you a generous financial aid, so private schools out of states, like I referred to back at the common apps, the top private schools are gonna ask for all of these supplementals. They're gonna ask for um, what was that called again? I forgot. Uh, letter recs, and then basically they're gonna have everything that UC has on top of that. So it's pretty much the same, but is more competitive because usually private schools, like especially the Ivy Leagues, they have like all the smart people around the country applying for them. So yeah, it's pretty okay. Apps in general are pretty much the same. Like it'll ask for your leadership, your academics, answer some personal insights, add some level recs if you want, especially to the out of state, not the UCs. Oh, we haven't talked about early decision
Yeah, my bad.
versus regular decision. Yeah, okay. Um, most of you guys should know UC applications are due at the end of November every single year. Like it's November 30th, I think.
Mm.
Which is really important because if you miss that, you're kind of screwed. They do not accept it later than that. But throughout the senior year, you're gonna know November 30th is UC apps due date. But in the private schools, you're able to apply for early decision, early action, and regular decision. Regular decision is basically what the UC is doing, which is like you do it once and they'll compare you to everyone else who's done it, which is usually in January. And then early decision, it depends what agreement you made with which private school, because some of them you can only apply to one early decision school, which is usually like November, and then they'll tell you the decision early on, like really early, like December or something. Yeah, yeah, early college admission. Yeah, the difference between early decision and early action is that early action you could do multiple schools, and also you can choose whether or not you want to go to those schools. But early decision, they're binding. So that means if you do it and then they accept you, you're sort of forced to attend that school. But I want to say that most people, okay, unless your dream school is like what, Stanford, which is really hard to get into. Usually, the early decision and early action has higher rate of going up, but that also means there's more competitive people. And then you also cannot compare financial aid to other schools because in regular decision, you have a deadline of like May 1st in which you submit what school you want to go to, and then you're able to compare your financial aid. But if you do early decision or early action, you're kind of binded to this one school, and if they offer you this amount, you kind of have to accept it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to answer the other question?
What's the question?
I don't know if you answered this, but how do you stay motivated?
Yeah. So staying motivated, but if they reject. Oh yeah, well, let me finish this early college. Okay, if they reject you like early admission, they can either defer you, which means they will push you back with the other regular decision people, but you don't have to resubmit anything. They'll just push you back with that pool of people, or they just straight up reject you, and then you can continue applying later on in the year with the regular decision. And then with the question about motivation, it depends really what you want to do. Like if you really want to go to a top school like Dylan over here and you're really motivated, I don't know how he stays motivated, but I stay motivated by having fun. And then I also enjoy the fact that uh, I'm able to have fun while also doing good in school. I think that's my motivation, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, okay. So I guess my answer to that question is probably really. I don't really know the answer to that question, but like I'm just gonna try to like talk my way through it, and I'm gonna hope I figure out I end up somewhere. So the first
Yeah,
thing is that
yeah,
like I have to sort of like you sort of have to understand what makes you motivated in the first place, and for me that's just being
yeah.
interested in it. Like
Mm.
I can personally I can do basically anything for as long as I'm interested in it. But the moment that I lose interest, it's like I cannot. Like my brain will just refuse to function the moment that I decide that like it seems no longer interesting. So that's like one aspect. And I think also one big thing that I've sort of figured out with the pandemic is that like one big thing to getting motivated is sort of just making sure like creating the right circumstances to where you are motivated. So like let's say for instance if you decide that you're gonna eat like a whole pizza, watch anime for 10 hours straight, and then sleep for 24 hours, and then pull an all-nighter before school starts because you have chem quiz, right? It's really hard to be motivated when you're setting yourself up with these
Yeah,
bad circumstances, right? So like some
yeah,
days
yeah,
you're just having an off day, and like instead of just like falling into like the deep tunnel of despair where you just like you're just gone, like it's better to like sort of because I feel like the problem is that you feel guilty for wanting to like enjoy yourself because you've got work to do, but then like but you can't like you can't enjoy yourself and you can't get work done because you're just having an off day. So like the best thing to do is just accept that you're having an off day, and like intentionally decide to just not work. Because if you try to work but then you can't, and then you're gonna with you're gonna unintentionally fall into like your habits, And when you unintentionally fall into your habits, you can go really far, and you just screw yourself over for at least a day,
Yeah.
if not more. So like, let's say like yesterday, like halfway through the day, my brain just stopped working. So then
Mm.
I just like I'm like, okay, I can't get work done. So I just like listened to like YouTube videos and just like went for a walk. But like when you control what it is you do on your off days, it becomes a lot easier to bounce back into your good days. So yeah, I guess that's my take.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I
Um,
also think you should set a standard for yourself. Like if you know you're like an A plus student, then if you know you're an A plus student, you shouldn't be able to like, just fool around. Like you know that you have to study and like you know that you have to do all these stuff. But if you're just like a regular dude, like just just have fun. Like don't be afraid to like honestly, yeah, this might sound bad, but there's so many times I just turned in a late assignment just because I didn't want to get myself burnt out. Like, hey, make sure this doesn't stack, okay? If this stacks and you have 20 late assignments, that's really bad. Like, yeah, just make sure like you're not burnt out, and then you should be able to stay motivated.
yeah. Any other questions? Because I think we sort of run through the sort of like flow chart slash guidelines, whatever, for the stream. We've also gone over. We've also gone for almost 2 hours now. It's pretty insane. All right, I'm gonna leave for like 15 seconds, and then probably gonna
Bro.
log out unless you got stuff you want to say, Matthew.
Okay. Oh. Hey, any more questions? I'm down to talk for however long.
All right, I think people don't really have questions. Do you still want
Oh,
to talk
if
about stuff?
they
Because I can sort of just.
hold on.
All right,
Yeah, honestly, just ask me questions. If there are tips for AP World, okay. A lot of people
wait, what you gonna get
need
for?
to know that. Okay, I got four, but that was a year where it was FRQ only, which is complete BS, by the way. I
Sure.
should have gotten a five, but you just make sure you read first of all, okay? But don't just memorize it, okay? You need to comprehend the knowledge. Like when I'm in a history class, I don't really like try to memorize it, but I just try to absorb the information. Yeah, you do not want FRQ only, okay? No, no, you don't want it. You don't
Okay,
want
yeah.
it.
So I can't give you advice on like the actual class because I had full year pandemic,
Yeah.
and also like Thor's was quite different than he usually was that year. But for the exam itself, I can give I think solid advice or insight into that. And I'd say the number one thing is like Matthew said, don't memorize stuff, and I think that to some degree that's correct. But I think what's more important is that like for like some level you have to memorize certain things. Like you have to know where China
No, no, yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, you
No,
have to
when I
know
mean like
things.
when you absorb the information, it's not like all right, it's not like you have a flashcard and you like memorize, okay, the 1912, 1912. Like no.
Uh-huh.
Like just know like, okay, in this era I knew that blank happened,
Exactly.
and just like know the general concept of history and what happened in that era.
Yeah, so like for especially
Yeah.
for DBQ, one of the big things is this idea of context, which is that given any
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
idea, like I say, like this industrial revolution, right? You can sort of place
yeah.
some context on it, like oh, before this one time there was the Age of Enlightenment, and after this, it sort of led to like these world wars because everybody had already industrialized, they had all these powers, and also one big thing is to notice, like to be able to connect trends that are happening simultaneously. So like
Yeah.
to not just like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
So
yeah, you go ahead.
So if you know the general info, it should come naturally to you. Like, but if you're gonna base everything on memorization, it's gonna be super hard to
Yeah.
connect like ideas, especially to DBQs because DBQs have like really strict, not strict, but they have like really set point guidelines. Like you have to get like two outside concepts. You need like two other stuff. But then if you want to just memorize stuff, that's only good for like maybe okay, it's not even good for MCQ because MCQ
Yeah, you're screwed.
it basically gives you a prompt and then you read it and you need to like correlate it to what era in history and then answer that question.
Hmm. Yeah, so like basically like it's really important to know that things can happen at the same time, and that like small events can happen within the context of bigger trends, and bigger trends can happen within the context of like smaller things having an impact on them. So like you
Yeah,
should know like industrialism and imperialism; those are not separate events; those are happening simultaneously, and they also affect each other. And like the two world wars, those were not two independent events; those were just one single event
exactly.
with sort of like a period in between of like semi-piece. Like when you understand those types of things, that's when you sort of have the understanding you need to get the 5. And also, like for things like for AP World, those things are so standardized that you have to practice test taking, specifically writing. Like I wrote the number of DBQs I wrote was just like so disgusting. Like I worked with Nicholas Ho, like but like the
Yeah.
number of times just like I wrote DBQs to the point where basically I could guarantee a 6 out of 7 and usually get a 7 out of 7, which is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
average
yeah.
score in the DBQ is I think a 2.9 out of 7 or like a 2.7
Yeah,
out of
it's
7.
because like the scoring guidelines, they're so set. Like
Mhm.
as long as you have like these examples that relate, you'll get the point. Like it doesn't matter if you're trash at grammar. Like okay,
Yeah,
it needs
I mean
to
ideally,
be
yeah,
yeah, okay. They need to understand what you're writing, but as long as you have the bare minimum, it should be fine.
yeah. So that's AP World, and I don't
Yeah.
know. Actually, no, I think that was just gone. So let's not talk about AP Calc. But yeah, any other questions? I don't know. We kind of want questions here because like I still have enough energy to keep going. At least I'm not sure about Matthew. You
I
good?
can keep on going too.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I can keep on going too.
All right. Follow the rubric. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, especially the DBQ. I know. Watch out. Hey, AP US history. Mr. Zeman did not give us any DBQ practice. By the way, no, not AP US history. Yeah, I think I said that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He
Also,
did not give you practice.
just to announce
So make
later on this year, we're going to be having a push a push and also I guess AP World depending on how many people show up. We're
yeah,
going
it's
to be
pretty much
having
the
a push
same.
in AP World DBQ and LEQ writing not sessions but basically you write your we set out a prompt, everybody writes their DBQ, and then they're going to get another DBQ and they're going to have to grade it, and then this would just be like one big session where not session but it's going to be happening asynchronously unless people want to be together. But yeah, basically like what I did with Nicholas Vo. Yes, yeah, I didn't talk about this yet, but like since I'm also studying A push too, I'm gonna once I get all the A push info in my brain, I'm gonna start like having like getting DBQ prompts from the College Board. We're all gonna write the same prompt, then like we're gonna switch our DBQs and we're gonna grade each other's, and we can get feedback. A push and A per world. No, and they both have DBQs and also LEQs, which are probably more important to study for. But yeah, later on we're gonna have sort of study sessions. I don't really know how to word it. But basically, we grade each other's DBQ so we sort of get feedback. So yeah,
Hey, that
just
sounds good because Mr. Zeman literally did not show us any DPQ. Like we did not even know what the scoring guideline. Like he really expected us to go in just write an essay and expecting to get all the points.
hey, what you get? If you're willing to
I
share.
think I got 4. I got 4.
Oh, that's solid. That's solid.
Yeah, that's solid. Oh, it's because I used my knowledge from AP World History
Dang,
to
man.
like apply. It's pretty much the same rubric, anyways.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. The day of the AP World History exam, I knew so much about history, and then now it's like I can't even remember when industrialization started. It was like
I do
1740s.
not remember
Steel,
anything.
like I think steam engine was like 1756. Or 17, I don't even know anymore. Man. I used to be like having dates in my mind, even though it's not necessary. Like
What
that's the
the heck?
level of
Nah, I
memory I
didn't.
had at that time.
Yeah, I did not have dates. I just associated the events and how they correlate with each other to the
Yeah, that's
era,
all you
and
need
I
to know.
just remember. I remember how. I just remember when the era happened, and that's pretty much you need to know.
Yeah, so like industrial revolution, you just say like mid 1750s, like
Yeah.
1750s, like to like 1840. Don't remember what the exact date was, but like it's just like stuff like that. Like yeah, I just remember dates down to the number. It was ridiculous. Like let's see, like I could remember like if you gave me a year, if you gave me a decade, right? I could give you so many
What?
events within that decade. It was so dumb. Like I remember 1960s was a ridiculously like riotous like decade. Like I remember like 1956 was a Hungarian uprising. 1958 was like the Prague Spring or something. No, maybe 1968.
Okay, you guys do not need
I
to
just
be like
yeah, you
this
don't need to
kid.
know that. But
You
like
got a
I'm
good
saying
start.
like
Yeah.
the level of stuff you need to know is nothing close to that level. It's like AP World
Yeah.
is not. Oh yeah, we didn't answer this question, but the hardest AP exams, I didn't get to this. Like according to statistics, like surveys, right? Number one is AP Physics, electricity and magnetism. Number two is
That
AP
makes sense.
Chem. Number three is AP Physics, Mechanics, and then after that, it's mainly sciences and maths at the very top. Also, although AP Lit was actually pretty high up there, I'm not sure why, but yeah. How about AP Lit? You want to talk about that?
Okay. Okay. If you're an AP Lang and you get credit, okay. you have to make sure, ask like a counselor or something because I am not 100% sure. But I think if you get a 4 or 5, you'll get credit for college because in college they refer it as AP Lang and AP Lit. That's pretty much the same credit. So if you pass AP Lang with a 4 or 5, ask your counselor if you need like if you want to go to UC, ask if the AP Lit credit is different because honestly, AP Lit, I don't know. Yeah, people say it's easy, but you pretty much have to annotate every day. That's not
Oh
fun.
shoot, really? Is it that much workload?
That's not fun. That's not fun.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
uh, I don't think this is every college. You should, if you know what college you're interested in, you should check it out. But I
yeah,
think what I remember from my research is that so AP Lang getting a 4 or 5 will get you first either first semester or first year
yeah,
English,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then for AP Lit, getting a 4 will get you first semester English as well. But getting a 5 will get you
Mm.
both first and second semester. I think.
I actually did not know the part.
I'm not 100% sure, but that sounds
Okay, yeah.
familiar to me. Okay. Any other questions? I don't know. Like it's kind of fun, but I don't really know how to make this work.
Mm. Oh, I want to say, if you're taking, or if you're a junior, you're taking Calc BC, you guys should take Calc 3 over the summer.
Yeah. How is that? You want to talk us through that?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So I took Calc 3 last summer because I took Calc BC last year, during my junior year. Okay, first of all, I only took Calc 3 just because we had a sub last year. Yeah, Mr. Brown, that was his name. He's a long-term sub for Bogart because Bogart left. Man was a theater major who worked part-time at an In and Out, okay?
Hey,
He
don't
did
count me
not
more,
know how to
man.
teach. Okay. And then um I pretty much did Calc 3 just so I didn't have to take Calc BC test. Okay? Hey, I think it's pretty smart.
No,
And
it
then
was really smart. Wait, what you got in Calc
it
3?
is pretty smart. Like if you because Calc BC, if you get a 5, that only guarantees Calc 2, okay? Calc 2, well, it's just
Hmm.
Calc 2 and then Calc 3. And but you learn Calc 2 stuff in Calc BC. So if you want to take an entrance exam or show that you got a good score on your AP test to I think Coastline or Coastline Orange Coast, that's the other one. You can show them that you did good and then ask to take Calc 3. So in college you don't have to take any more calculus class.
Mm. Yeah. I was gonna say something. Shoot. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you want to talk us through like what Calculus 3 was in relation? Like I know people are taking
Okay.
Calculus 3, but like
Yeah.
let's say maybe, okay, this is more of a personal question, I guess, because I want to know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you're one of the smart people, you should take Calc 3. Is honestly, okay, I took it completely online. Like there was no Zoom. Like he basically assigned us homework like every day, and then I didn't even do it. Like I just did it all last second because he allowed late assignment. Hey, so I basically did a whole course in like the last 2 days.
Jesus Christ. How'd you
Um,
get?
hey, it was crazy. I got B somehow.
Oh my God.
And then okay, I think it depends on the teachers because I think this one was much more lenient because there's two of them. One of them, he actually made you attend like Zoom class, and then he made you go in person. No, he didn't make you go in person, but you had a take home final, okay? Take home
Mm.
final. But my teacher, he basically gave us a study guide before the midterm and the final which pretty much had the same wording as our homework. So I really got the homework. I made a study guide for it. And I just reviewed it, and I passed the class.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it depends what teacher, but the content in Calc 3 is much more easier than Calc BC. It's basically pre-calc but with three variables.
I
I
didn't like
think
Precalc.
because Calc 3 is multivariable, which basically means you have a x, y, and then you have a z.
Okay, but how much trig is in that class? Trig usually tends to be the death of people.
Trig. Yeah, Trig. Well, mine was online, so Trig wasn't a problem. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of Trig.
Mm, all right.
Ye-
Oh, yeah. What I was gonna
Yeah.
say is that for most colleges, like if you're going to a STEM major, to get Calc 2 credit for Calc PC,
Oh,
you have to get a 5. So sometimes they'll allow a 4 depending on how like rigorous the program is. But usually you want a 5 on the BC exam just because that's how rigorous math
yeah.
needs to be. Precalc main concept. Okay, you want to answer this one? 'Cause I
I
know it's a Precalc.
personally forgot all the pre-calc stuff because it's been 2 years, and I.
Oh, I remember. Actually, I have my notes, but no trouble. It's
Okay.
okay.
Pre-calc, you basically learn
He's in
how
geometry,
to
by the way.
apply trig. Oh yeah, yeah. Shoot, hold on. I don't think I can explain it with geometry.
Okay, yeah. So since you're in geometry, that means you have algebra 1 knowledge. Basically, so one of the things is one of the main algebra parts of precalc is functions, right? So so a function can only oh shoot, this is hard to explain actually. I started to say a bunch of math like jargon, but that does not work. Uh, yeah, it's basically just like algebra plus trig, sort of just smushed together. It's just like a little bit harder. The trig is probably the thing that will get you, but yeah, it's really tough to explain with just geometry knowledge.
Yeah. Honestly, you really don't have to rush Calc 3. Like, I'm only talking to like the really smart people who's taking like Calc PC junior year right now. But besides that, you should just go on the main course, like take pre-calc honors junior year and the Calc PC senior year. Should be good
But
enough.
Bex, you're in geometry, right? Because I don't think you should be starting pre-calc until you get up to trig and that. Also, just like
Oh
calc.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, but
I
one of the
forgot
things
about
that
trig.
I can
Yeah.
explain calculus. Pre-calculus is a little bit different, but
Mm,
calculus, like, I, to be fair, it's just only November. But like from what we learned in calculus so far, it's basically the main idea of calculus. Like the first month of calculus is okay. So you can take the slope of you can take the slope of a function, right, or like the slope of a line, and then what you can do is you can find that slope, but at a point. So it's just like algebra on steroids. Like you just take it's just algebra with infinity, basically. And then you also have to memorize a bunch of stuff. Like they take up the idea of algebra with infinity and they just take it to the extreme, and that's calculus.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, you said
if you
algebra
take
two
algebra,
beta. Oh, I forgot.
okay, I think if you take algebra to 2, I think you can ask I think like a math teacher to see if you can test out of it. Because as long as you pass like one of the finals, I think you should be good, like
Yeah,
the whole
I don't think
year.
Marina does that.
Really? No.
You can't just skip a class because you fast final. Because like thing about
What?
America is that American math is so much lower, like so much more like not worse, but like it's just lower than the
Mm,
rest of the world. So like
yeah.
if you look at like a Singapore math test for like fifth graders, it's harder than like what we can do. Like it's not like hard, it's not like derivatives, but like it's just normal algebra, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the application is so much more. So I think okay,
Yeah, honest.
all right. So okay, you want to explain?
I would ask a teacher.
Yeah, so you want to explain
For-
pre-calc to Bex? Let's say he knows up to output two trig.
If you know algebra trick, pre-calc, I forgot what happened in pre-calc is too long.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my journal. Yeah, just talk a
Oh
bit
my
while
god.
I just entertain chat for like a minute.
Asia, they teach you pre-calc in 8th grade. Yeah, that's kind of intense.
Hold up.
Wait,
Where my
wait,
binder?
were you in 8th grade in Asia?
Aha, I found it.
Or did you move to the US in 8th grade?
He was in Thailand until. Oh wait, yeah. They teach pre-calc in they teach pre-calc in eighth grade. You see how good? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I feel like you're ahead of the curve, so I'm pretty sure as long as you test all of it.
All right,
Okay.
so I'm
Okay, so
gonna
if you
just
left, then hmm.
okay. I'm gonna look at my notes for pre-calc. Okay, here.
Yeah, I would ask like Mr. Nguyen or something if you can test out of it. I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure that's an option.
So
It literally does not make sense if you have to retake the class if you already know everything.
yeah, okay. So it's just basic algebra. You start learning about like domain and range. I think you should probably know that. Like
Oh, you learn
rational
about
inequalities,
unicircles, I think.
exponential functions, one-to-one functions, inverse functions, angles, compound interest, sine and cosine graphs. I feel like this is all algebra two trig. What am I missing?
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, the hardest part of precalc in my opinion is the trig. Trig gets really intense.
Yeah.
Polar coordinates, I didn't really look at that much. I just took notes and moved on. Matrices, I don't think you do that in Precalc. Conic sections, I don't think you do that either. You don't do matrices either. You skip a lot of stuff in Precalc. And then like you start getting to calc at the end, so like derivatives. They do not teach courses individually, they teach everything at once. I don't understand what that means.
I think it means they do not separate by category. They just teach you whatever. Yeah, I think you're a special case, so it's pretty hard. Like you might have to get like an exception or something.
Oh, I didn't take notes for that. Oh shoot, that's wrong. Yeah, I also did. Actually, no, it's probably not important. But yeah, that's basically. Let's put this back. All right, yeah. Any other questions? Because like now we're kind of stretching it, and now I'm remembering that fall rally is tomorrow, and I need to be up by 4 a.m.
Hey, the fall rally's nah.
Not gonna lie, man, I'm starting to regret it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
All right, any last questions?
Yeah.
Like, it's probably a good idea for me to end it here at this point. It's been 2 hours. Also, did I not cover? Oh yeah, so streams are gonna start becoming more frequent. Before, between now and the last stream was like a month and a half, which is kind of ridiculous. Now we're gonna start trying to move it to every other week, every other Friday, and also, so it's gonna be like a mix of lectures, like the first one, and also interviews like this one. We're going to be opening up a form if you want to co-host, like Matthew just did. So if you like Matthew, you're also allowed to apply again. If you want, yeah,
Yay.
preferably we talk about something else. More stream, yes, more
Hey,
streams.
make me regular. Make me
Yeah, you can
regular.
become a regular if you apply regular and you have different things to talk about because we can't just talk about the same stuff,
Oh
obviously.
yeah.
So
Yeah, obviously.
if you can find topics, then yes, preferably topics that are applicable to the audience, accessible, and also useful, right? Yeah. So we're gonna start moving streams to every other week. We're not going to have a stream over Thanksgiving break, and we're also not going to have we're not going to have one the day before. I mean the week after that because I have the SAT the next day. Oh, that's kind of sad. So the next stream is gonna be next month, 1 month from today. Even though I said that, because okay, the thing is, next week is 1 week away. 2 weeks away is Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and the week after that is the day before my SAT, so I can't do that. So it's gonna be another month away, and then after that, it's probably gonna be winter break 2 weeks from then. So then the stream after that's gonna be another month later, and then it's gonna be finals. So that I can't do that week either. I'll try my best to fit more streams into everything, but yeah, if you guys have topics, you guys have any topics you guys want to talk about in the future? And also, yeah, we're gonna be ending the stream probably by 8:15, unfortunately.
And honestly, if you have any questions, just DM me on
No, it's
Insta.
so fun. No, no,
I'm gonna...
you gotta save your questions for the next stream.
What?
You're allowed to
Nothing if
ask
I'm
it.
not on the next stream.
If nobody else applies, you'll probably be in it if you can find a
What
topic.
the heck? Nah, you
Yeah,
can DM
we'll
me
be
personal
making a
questions.
co-host form. Okay.
Fine.
The only requirements is that you have something worthwhile to talk about and you're willing to talk during a given, like on a Friday at preferably after like 6 to 8 or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty broad who can come on. Also, yeah, you're not allowed to like drop N bombs or anything. You gotta make sure you abide with TOS. Yeah, we don't want to be doing none of that. But yeah, any last questions before we sort of wrap up? I'm gonna give like 10 seconds for this. And I'm probably just gonna hop straight to bed after I finish this up.
This is like sign up for Fall Rally.
I don't know. We'll figure it out next year if I want
It's
to.
a cult.
I can't argue with that yet. I'm on the inside, still figuring it out. All right, yeah. Seems like there's no more questions. Just gonna wrap up. Make sure to follow us on Twitch. Make sure you get entered into our 50 follower giveaway for the OG merch. Matthew, you following yet?
Um, I will. I will right now.
All right, you better follow us. All right. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's where our main stuff is going to be posted. Any events, any opportunities, like our blanket social this Thursday. Make sure you attend. Sign up through MHS Project Luminate, or you can put BSA in Amnesty since this is the Matthew Nguyen interview stream. But other than that,
Oh.
thank you so much for coming, guys. That looks like it's gonna be the end of it. Thank you, Matthew, for coming on. Any last words, Matthew?
No.